Now, okay, this my pen works. Okay, okay, okay. Start doing funny things again. Okay, now, Assalamualaikum and good morning again. Right. So we going back to this chapter of consumer preferences, right? So we already talk about indifference curve, right? So we talk about I think we already up to indifference curve. So this is the indifference curve, yeah. And you can see that in different curve, they not limited to one, but you can have more than one indifferent curve, and as it's go higher, like further from the origin here, as you go higher, then you have more utility. So you know that utility 3 is higher than the rest, these two. So this is more preferred than these two. All right. You can hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, you know that indifference curve cannot intersect each other because you see this R is the same as give the same satisfaction with Q, and P is also giving the same satisfaction with Q. So which means these two are not different, but in different curve. It means that if it is different curve in indifference curve, that this one is slightly higher than this one, so they cannot intersect. Right now, the shape of indifference curve is what we call is concave. You see, it's yeah, this shape, and this shape, right, shows that someone is willing to trade off clothing to food. They are willing, in this example here, they are willing to let go 6 units of clothes for 1 unit of food. Okay, so most of the time this is guys lah. Guys are more concerned on this rather than this one, clothing, boys. So you are, as you go here, right, as you go, you have more clothes, you are willing to give to give away lesser clothes. See the 6, 4, 2, 1, right? That's why the curve looks like this, right? Okay, now this is also called or known as marginal rate of substitution. In short, we call MRS, right? So this slope, right? This slope of the indifference curve, remember this slope, right? This slope, it is called MRS, right? So it quantifies the amount, the maximum amount of a good consumer is willing to give up in order to obtain one more additional unit. Okay, that example just now was clothes and food. Okay, sorry, yeah, correct. So MRS falls as we move down down the indifference curve, reflects what we call as a diminishing marginal rate of substitution. So the curve is convex, right? So diminishing, which mean you see just now the example was 6 and then 4 and then 2 and then 1, right? So that's why it's called diminishing. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, this is example. Now again here, the MRS for food, right? For food F, sorry, the MRS of food for clothing is the maximum, right, amount of C, maximum amount of clothing person is willing to give up to obtain one additional unit of F, right? So MRS is actually, right, the change of food, 1 unit of food. How much is the change in the clothing? So that is MRS. Okay, how much this change, 1 unit of this change food, right? And how much that will trigger or change or or give up, a person are willing to give up amount of clothing here. So you have here, over here is MRS of 6, but here MRX of 2. So that's why the curve is not a straight line. It's not a linear curve, but it's more like what you call convex is now, right? Yeah, convex, right? Okay, now we also have what we call perfect substitution, where whatever amount you give up, right? Two goods are perfect competition, perfect substitution, sorry. Perfect substitution, right? When MRS of one good and the other is constant, which means, oh, sorry, it's constant. Sorry, my pen. So a person might consider, here example one, a person might consider apple juice, sorry, apple juice and orange juice is perfect substitute. You see, which means here, 1 glass of orange juice for 1 glass of apple juice. Orange juice, 1 orange juice, 1 apple juice, which means it's perfect substitute. If I substitute 1, it must be equivalent to 1, 1 to 1. You let go of this, you let go of this apple juice, 1 unit of apple juice, right? Also same unit of here. Same unit. Right? So that's perfect substitutes. Example of perfect substitutes, anyone? What do you think? Anything for you? Example of perfect substitute? No, no substitutes. No, no example. Anyone? Are you there? Okay, another one is what we call as perfect complement. Right? Which means two goods are perfect complement when the IC for the goods are as shaped as right angles. You can see this angle, huh? Right? MRS is 0 or infinite. For example, left shoe, right, and one right shoe must be used at the same time, which means if you have one product, it must be complement with another product. Then it's complete. Then it's a perfect complement. Right? Example? Anyone?
Cereal and milk.
Cereal and milk. Okay. Can you eat cereal without milk?
Yes.
Can.
No. No.
No, no.
Well, some kids, they just eat the cereal like that. Sometimes you use cereal for your kuih raya. But this is a good example where a lot of people, when they want to have the cereal, they will have it with milk. Okay, that's a good example. Another one? Anyone?
Creamer
Lighter
and
and
coffee.
cigarette.
What, coffee and
Creamer.
creamer. There's one guy just now. Who was it? Apa cakap tadi?
Lighter and cigarette.
This one is very much, yeah, compliment, right? So, I want to tell you a story about this lighter and compliment, but sorry, lighter and cigarettes. That's not right here because it's recorded. But I give you I'll tell you a story about that. Remind me, afterwards. So perfect compliment. All right. Now let's give an example of a new automobile, a car, lah, right? You see this is a two group of people, two types of car, right? Two different preferences for automobile. So the attributes for this mobile is space, which means area, the cabin area, how big is the inside your car, right? And then the acceleration, horsepower, the engine power lah, right? Right, between two cars. This is Ford Mustang, not Mustang lah, Mustang. right? And then this one is Ford Explorers. You know is what is a Ford Mustang? You know what car is that?
Muscle car.
Yeah, Kawin?
Muscle car.
Yeah, fast car. It's a fast car. It's a sports car. That's what you call a muscle car. Yeah, correct. It's a muscle car, very expensive and very powerful. So you see, when you want to buy a Ford Mustang, which means what do you look for? What do you look for in a Ford Mustang? Horsepower, because it's a muscle car, right? Muscle car, which means it's a sports car. It's built for speed. So that's why you see a lot of space. People are they are when they want to design a new muscle car like a fast like a Ford Mustang. So they are willing to give more space for additional of horsepower, right? Owner of Ford Mustang coupes are willing to give up considerable interior space for acceleration. So you see here, right, big here, for another 50 horsepower, they are willing to give like 40 cubic feet, right? Cubics mean isi padu lah, right? But here for Ford Explorer, you know what is Ford Explorer? Same product, Ford, but this one is Explorer. You know what is Explorer? It's a SUV, an SUV, right? So SUV is like a family car. So when you're a family, which means you are driving more than you're driving with the family, a lot of people, right? There are a lot of people. So they don't, you know, even though they are willing to give bigger, right? They prefer interior, so very limited. They are not willing to give more for this amount for this engine, which means we don't really mind if we don't have much power, even though there is not much power here, right? We are willing to give this big amount for the amount of this space. So the opposite true for owner of Explorer. They prefer interior space to acceleration, right? Understand? Okay. Now, we can measure this preference, right? Right there, we can measure them what we call as utility. So, the theory of consumer behavior does not require assigning a numerical value, right? Although ranking of market basket are good where you use indifference curve to describe the consumer preference, but numerical can also help, right? Even though you can see ranking, you see the indifference curve 1, 2, 3. So you know this is higher, right? So this ranking of market basket. You use this indifference curve to explain, right? But we can also have a numerical value to show their satisfaction, and this is a concept called as utility. Yeah, to put some numerical value, so you understand what is dissatisfaction actually. So the concept is a numerical score, right? It's not really a standard measure, but it's a score to represent the satisfaction that the consumer gets from a given market basket. All right. Okay. Now there are two types: ordinal ranking, right? Ordinal ranking, and where in this ordinal ranking we place the market basket in order, right, from most preferred to least preferred, right? But it does not indicate how much. One market is preferred the other. Another one is called cardinal ranking, utility function describing the extent to which one market is preferred to the other, right? Describing, right? So our objective here to understand consumer behavior is sufficient. It's enough, sufficient to know how consumers rank different basket, right, with ordinal utility function, right? Okay, now we give you an ordinal utility function. We talk about this utility function. You see, measuring the consumer preference, the utility, right? So the formula that assigns a level of utility, right? The formula to put this what you call as utility to an individual market, right? This is the example here. Here, utility is a function of food and clothes. UFC ya. Bukan United Fighter Challenge tu, bukan Ultimate Fighter Challenge tu, the MMA thing, no, not that one. Here, the function is represented by this symbol U. U means utility, and this utility, your satisfaction, the satisfaction that you get is by, in this case, by having a market of two, a market basket of two goods, that is food and clothes. Food and clothes. Right. So the function here represent the utility. So in this case, the function is that one cloth with one food with two clothes, right, will give you the utility or the satisfaction. So this is the mathematical function or the function. So, excuse me. It tells the level of satisfaction obtained from consuming F unit and C units. So in this case, is that 1 unit of F and 2 units of C. So now, let's say we want to know, let's say a market basket of 8 units, example, 8 units of food and 3 units of clothing will give a utility of 14. Which means here, 1 times, because F is only 1, right? So 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 times 3, right? 2 here because of this function 2. So you get 14. So that's your utility, right? For this example of food and clothes. Right now, example again. You see here, for bucket A, right? You obtain 8 and 3. If you have 8 food and 3 clothing, you will have 14 utility, right? But if you have lesser food but more of clothes, then when you solve this equation, then you will get 14. Meaning to say, A and B will give the same what? Hello?
Utility.
Yeah, utility meaning same utility means same
Satisfaction.
satisfaction. So whether you want to have more clothes or more food or less food, provided you have more clothing, then we have the same satisfaction, right? So this is not a standard unit, but you can have some gambaran, some picture to understand whether A or B is the same. And A and B is now giving the same utility, same satisfaction, even though they are at the different combination. But in the case of C here, right, you have 4 of food and 4 of clothing. You see that, wow, it's the same, for same amount of food and clothing, but it will yield only 12. So what can you tell?
Not satisfied.
Right. So which means if you have only this and this will not, person choosing this, prefer this, will not have the same satisfaction with those who have chose this, right? Even though they're the same, because your function was F plus 2C, right? Okay, in order to get same satisfaction, you must have 2 clothes. Kena pakai baju, kena pakai seluar. And you got 1 meal. Then you are full satisfied. Right? Okay. Consumer is indifferent between A and B. Okay, same, right? This same explanation. All right. Now, another example here is okay. You can have 25 coming from here. All right. Right, be it an or you can have 100, right? See, here is the function is this one. This function is 4 equivalent to FC. So 4 F times C 25 times 10, and 5 times 5, 10 times 2.5. So you will get this line here, or we call this indifferent curve U1, right? So you will have this utility of this what do you call indifference curve, right? Using this function, right? But if you have higher here, if you higher bigger apa nama ni indifference curve, so you will have 100, and this one only 25. So which one you prefer? U1, U2, U3? Guys, hello. Which one you prefer? Which one is more? Come in.
U2. U2.
U2. The rest? If I would prefer this. 100. Why? Remember the assumption? More is better. Remember in the beginning last week? We talked
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. The more is the better, right? You maybe why you choose 50? Why you choose U2?
Balance.
Balance. Okay. All right. But here you see you only have 50 utility. Here you have
100.
100 utility. So which one you prefer then?
100.
Of course, people will the assumption is that people it's not assumption lah, syukurlah apa yang ada. No, this assumption here is the higher, the more people will prefer. So that's the assumption of consumer preferences, right? So they prefer this one, right? Okay. Now, okay. If you were given the opportunity, of course you will prefer U3, right?
Yeah.
Because it give you more. Because with this you can have bigger lah, because of this perkali ni, because of this correlation here. Coefficient here. So, what is limiting you? What is limiting you from choosing a bigger or a higher curve? Let's say 1, U2, 3, and then you have U4, U5, U6. Okay, you can go as far. Okay, now, what is limiting you to choose only U1 or only 50, only 100? What is limiting you? What factor that limits you not to choose as high as possible? Understand me? Do you understand my question? Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think limits you to go very far until to the moon, to the sky?
Income.
Income.
All right. So we call as income. We call that as budget constraint. Right.
Income.
If because of your budget is constrained, then maybe you have to stick. Maybe you have to stick to here, U25. That limits you from going to this another utility function, or what you call another indifference curve, right? So why people still here, stay here? I'll give you an example, a realistic example. Anyone in this class drives a car? Anyone drive a car? Okay lah. Anyone rides motorcycle? Anyone? Who rides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what brand?
Yamaha. Legend.
Yamaha
Legend.
Legend. Okay. Why not Yamaha R25? Right.
Budget constraint.
Yeah, you understand, right? You like R25?
It's quite expensive.
But do you like it? You like that
Yes.
R25? Right? You like it, right?
Fast.
R1?
R1 Kira.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you prefer R21, R1, but they understand, the others maybe don't understand what is R25, but doesn't matter lah. So which mean if you want to have a bigger bike lah. R25 is a bigger cc, so it can go faster and it looks nice too, right? It looks very sporty, right? Can attract girls, right? Okay, so that's the limiting factor, is that your budget constraint. So remember the first choice, the first step is consumer preference, right? What do they prefer? But the second step is now the constraint. Now they prefer. Now you understand what is their preferences and what are the things that they prefer, the indifference curve. But there are a factor, what we call as budget constraint, that limits them before they make their third step as choice. Okay, this is number 1, number 2, and then let me put here number 3, choice. So you understand the preference. Now we need to understand what is constraining them. That's the budget. And the third one, how do they make the choice? Okay, now we call this budget constraint as the budget line. Budget line. All combination of goods for which the total amount of money spent equal to income, right? So we have to have assumption that all of your money in your income is spent on the goods that you want to buy. Okay, in our example, we only have 2 goods, right? But in reality, you have more than 2 lah. Takkan the food and food and clothes saja. You need car lah, you need wayang lah, you need your fry lah. So fry to food lah, yeah. So but in this example, we have food and clothes, and this both food and clothes is fully combination of these 2. You spend everything with your income. You finish everything with these 2 goods, right? Now we have a basket. Now with your budget, in this example here, your budget is 80 because we have F plus 2C. The example here is the price of food is $1 and clothes is $2, right? And then you can spend. Your budget is only $80. So you spend all your income on these 2 products. So with this, you have a combination of A, B, C, D, E. Example, A, no food, only buy clothes, right? This is for girls lah. Tudung, shawl, cardigan, baju kurung, baju kebarung, baju batik, baju... Again? Okay, baju batik saja for tudung saja 18, so you spend everything. You don't have to eat, no worry, right? As long as you're slim. All right, and then you can also have a combination of 20 to 30. You spend all the money, you put this into this function. You put this amount to this function, you will get 80. This combination, all use this function, then you will get 80, right? And this one is for guys. They don't buy clothes for the whole of 4 years in UPM studying, right? They just spend on food, right? They don't change any kind of pakaian, any kind of clothing for the 4 years. They spend money. These guys lah. All guys do this. Right. So all this money, all your income is spent on food, right? Okay. Now the budget line. From that combination, you can have a line or what you call a budget line. So you see, now you have clothes over here and then you have food over here, right? By having this function, using this function, and then what do you call putting this value into this function, then you will have this all dotted line, all these lines, all these points here, and when you connect them, you have this one straight line. Okay, this straight line where you have 40 and 80 here, right? This is when 40 is when A when you spend all your money on clothes, and then 80 when you spend all your money or your income on food. Here, right? All on food, all on clothes. So all this BDE. All right. So, and you will have the value here with this function. All right. So this is what we call as the budget line. All right. So, which means with $80 of your income, you can spend either here, here, or here, or here. All of this will give you the same amount to be spent, $80, right? Okay, you can also see that 10 and 20, and so you can see the slope of half. Slope is half because you see 10 and 20. 1 unit of this, 2 unit of this, right? So the slope is actually half, negative half, because of this function is a inverse G. So, and then you can also use this formula, right? Right, this is amount spent, this is the price of F times by the amount of F, and plus with price of C times by the cost of the price of C, and equivalent to I, not one, income I. So, and then you do some magic in algebra, then you have the consumption, and then you can get the slope, right? Yeah. Can you hang for a while? Can you hang on for a while? Yeah. Okay, let's get started again. Okay, now as consumption move, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. All right. Good. Okay. As consumption move along the budget line from the intercept, the consumer spend less on item and more on the other. Remember, right? As you move here, this is the chart, right? As you move here to here, you spend more on this and less on this, right? So the slope of the budget line measures the relative cost of food and clothing. The slope is negative, right? Of the ratio of the prices of the two goods. The slope indicates the rate at which the two goods can be substituted, right? Without changing the amount of money spent. Okay. All right. So this budget, right? This budget line looks like this, right? Right? Can this line change position? What do you think? Can it change? This line here? Can the budget line change? Can it change? What do you think?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Yes.
Which way?
Change
Yeah.
in
Like this.
No.
So it can shift either here or here.
Yes.
All right. It can be pivoted. It can be like this, right?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
have like this. You can also like this. You can also like this. Right? So it can all be changed like this. What are the factors that makes it change? Right? So the effect can be coming from the income and also
Income.
price. Yes, right. There are changes in budget line. We can show the effect. Okay, right now. More income, what happened?
Can buy more.
Right, originally you have 80, right?
Yes.
So when you have more income, we assume
100.
that
Spend more.
we assume that we spend everything on these two goods, FC, fried chicken, right? So you have more income, then you can buy more chicken lah, right? So shift parallel and then holding price constant. There's no change in price, no change in price, and then you spend everything on the same product. Less income, less buy of both good and shift inwards, right? But the price is constant, no change in price, same price. So it will be changes in the vertical intercept, but do not change in the slope. Okay, here, right? No change in slope because initially 6 and become 9 and less, right? If the bundles or the of the apa nama but the price does not change, which mean the same amount, the same price of these two things, which mean that your slope is fixed, no change in slope, right? Okay. Okay, now what happened here? Okay, what happened here? Blue line. Hello, everyone.
So are cheaper.
Okay, so the price of soup drops. Okay, initially it was $2 per pin, right? So you can spend 12 amount of money, bread and 3 of so you have this with your income, you can have this line. But when it's cheaper, then you can have more soup, but still the same amount of bread because the price of bread is fixed, right? So the new line is over here. Okay, that's not the correct line. The line, the budget line shift to 6. You can have more of soup because of price drop, right? But if they become more expensive, then you go here. It shift to number 1, for example, to 1 unit of soup only. All right. Okay, if the two goods price, if the two goods increase in price, but ratio of the two goods is unchanged, so the slope will not change. Budget line will shift inward, parallel to original budget line. If the two goods reduce in price, the ratio of the two price is unchanged, but the slope will not change. The budget line will shift outward. What do you understand of this? Do you understand? What do you understand? Anyone? What I can tell you, okay, now, maybe I draw here lah. Okay. This is your original line, okay? Understand? Suddenly it changes to here. Hang on, one more time. One more time. Original line, right? It doesn't work. Doesn't work. Okay, never mind. So, and then it changed to this line. Second one. What makes these changes?
The income or the price of the goods.
Okay, income is one factor, but in this topic here is actually
Price.
the price, yeah, because the price drop, which means makes you more, you have more purchasing power.
Yeah.
So that's why the consumption increase, right? Same goes here, you understand, reverse effect. All right, price increase. So price increase, income is the same, but less consumption. Right. Okay. Now, budget is the boundary that spreads affordable bundles for all others. Slope of budget line, right? Slope of budget line is here, right? X-intercept is this slope divided by price for X, and for Y, slope divided by price of y. So change in income shift in line without changing the slope, right? Income shift without changing the slope. Change in the price rotates the line. Understand? It's like this. Price like this, but income like this, and then goes like this. All right. Changing price and income can be same proportion, has no effect on the budget line. If the change of price and income is the same, which means no effect on the budget line. Understand? Which means the change in income and change in price is the same amount. Same amount of these two, which means the line stays the same. Right. Okay, now you understand now. You have understand that. Hang on, yeah. Okay, you have understand that. It's my pen. Okay. First you have the. Oh my God, what happened to my pen? Okay. Hang on. First, you have the preferences. Oh my God, what happened to my pen? Okay, sekejap ya. First, you know that what is their preference, right? How do they make this? What kind of preferences they have? Secondly, you know the budget line. Budget is the constraint. Right now, number 3, then they make choice. How do people make choice? After they consider their preferences, and then they know their budget, right? Now they will make choices. Understand? Okay, now consumer choice. Okay, consumer choice, right? So when people make choice, we have to make this condition to meet. Right. So the condition is that the choice, right, the market basket, right, which market basket that you choose must satisfy 2 conditions. It must be located on the budget line, because your budget line is the one who limits. The budget line is the factor that limits your choice. That means choice. It must give the consumer the most preferred combination, which means the highest what?
Utility.
Yes, correct. Utility, the highest utility satisfaction. So utility must be what they call the same or equivalent to budget line. I think someone forgot to switch off the mic. And check your mic because I can hear sounds coming, background sounds. It's okay for you to if you want to ask question. All right. So now, so you can have this by having a graphic, right? Which means on the graphic, on the chart or on the curve, the combination must be on the budget line and not below it. Combination of the highest and the combination of the highest indifference curve, right? The highest indifference curve that touches the budget line. You remember this or not? Hello? You remember this or you've forgotten? Hello? No one. You remember this from the previous class? Hello? Not really, huh?
Not really.
Hang on, yeah. Okay. Right now. Okay, now. MRS. Remember MRS?
Yes.
Okay, remember what is MRS? It's like this, right? At every interior solution, the budget line lies tangent to the indifferent curve that's at the chosen consumption bundle. Recall that slope of the indifferent curve is negative MRS and the slope of budget line is negative. Negative price over X price, no, negative price of X over price of Y. So MRS is the substitution rate. So thus the interior solution is that MRS must be equivalent to here, right? Which mean what is this actually? What do you understand by this? What do you understand by this? Hello, do you understand? Hello.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So, okay. What do you understand?
Maybe the intersection between the indifference curve and the budget line.
Correct. Actually, the more precise is the slope. Your answer is 80%. The slope of these two, MRS, which look like this, and the slope of the budget line, which looks like this. So the slope must be the same. Then that's where your optimal choice. Okay? Right now. So this is how it looks like. We call this in mathematics tangent. You all on mathematics, boys and girls should know this lah. Huh? All right. So this slope here of this line, this strict budget line, is the same of the slope of this curve. Apa ni MRS? Indifference curve. All right. So the slope is two are the same. At this point, the slope are the same. This point no, this point no, this point no, this point no. So this is where the slope is the same. All right now. Okay, so here in this case, after you know the preferences, what is the preferences? Utility 1, utility 2, utility 3. Which one is the preference? Guys,
Utility 2.
utility 2. Okay. No, the question is here. Okay. Which one is the preference? Preferred. Preferred utility. Which one?
3.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, correct. The preference is right. Why?
Because
More is better.
most optimal.
The highest utility. The highest satisfaction. Correct, correct. Okay, now, hang on, yeah. Give me a minute. Can we take 5 minutes? All right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, you there? You still there? Let's continue, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, now, let's minimize this easier for me to. Hang on, yeah. Okay, now. Okay, now, even though you want this, people want this, but what is their choice? What is the choice?
Two.
Choice you two.
U2, right? U2, right? So the choice is actually at U2. Why?
Budget constraint.
Yeah, because of budget line here. So budget, right? So you understand now? When people make choice, right? They make choice because of, they make choice is number one, after they consider their preference, they give the highest utility, but because of the budget, then they make their choice. So here, right? They don't want to go for U1. Can they go for U1?
Yes.
Can.
Yes, can, right? But do they choose U1?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Lower
Not,
satisfaction.
Lower
no.
satisfaction, and
No
yeah,
satisfaction.
yeah, and then also your budget is higher. Remember I said you are spending all of the money or your income on these two products, clothes and food, right? So this is the tangent line, and then another thing is that the slope of this line U2 slope, U2 is the same with the slope of this line, budget line. Okay, all right. So satisfaction is maximized given the budget constraint at the point where here I talk about this already, the slope, right? Marginal benefit. Okay, from this we understand another concept what we call as marginal benefit. Benefit from the consumption of one additional unit of a good, right? And then we have another concept called as marginal cost. Cost of one additional unit of a good. So satisfaction is maximized when marginal benefit equal to marginal cost, right? So marginal benefit is measured by the MRS, right? So now, this is another example: designing new automobiles consumer, right? Choice of automobile attributes. The different preferences of consumer groups for automobile can affect their purchasing decision, right? Let's follow is these two example. Oh, sorry. Example of buying new cars. Okay, here, all right. The consumers in A are willing to trade off a considerable amount of interior space given for some additional acceleration. Given the budget constraint, they will choose a car that emphasizes acceleration here, right? So this is where they choose. You have the this is the apa nama, the utility function, right? For Ford Mustang. You see, this line. Okay, now you see here. This is also a utility function for Ford Explorer. Ini SUV, ini muscle car, sports car lah. Which meaning, right? You see, this line is over this part. It's more towards here. Less of acceleration. Utility function is here, over this side, right? But for sports car, utility function is over here, more on the horsepower, right? Less on the size, but here more on the size. So that's why it has different utility function, different location utility function, but the same budget line, right? Okay, so now you understand the utility function is slightly different for because of the preference, but the same budget line, right? Now there's also a situation what we call as corner solution. At a boundary choice, there is no affordable bundles, right, that contain either a little more or a little less of some good. Exists if a consumer buys in extremes. and buy all of one category of good to none of the other, right? In this case, maybe you just buy food. More formally, when bundle C is a corner solution, right? So you see the MRS is slightly higher than the slope for the indifferent curve is higher or the same with the slope of the budget line. So utility is maximized at the point at one axis where the budget constraint intersects the highest attainable indifference curve at zero consumption for one good and all income is used for other good. Okay, example here, over here, right? One good here. The highest satisfaction. This is where corner solution is. Bundle C is the best affordable bundle and also a corner solution. If MRS of soup is for bread is substantially greater than price ratio, right? Okay. The MRS of soup, soup, kenapa bagi example soup? Okay. Soup for bread is substantially greater, then the small change in bread will not alter the consumer choice. Still, choose will suit. Okay, here example, bread and soup. I give you example of bread and cigarettes for guys. Hello guys, you there? Guys.
Yes.
Boys, you there? Okay, cigarettes,
Yes, yes.
They spend all the money on cigarettes, right? Spend the money on cigarettes, right? Less on bread. You spend everything. So if price of bread decrease, right, from 70 cents, right, to 60 cents, they're still here, right? That will not alter the consumer choice, right? Okay, so they will not shift. They will not shift. This is a corner solution. So if PB, price of bread, substantially, the drop, then consumer might choose to consume a lot of bread. All right. If it's big, then only they shift. Okay. So this corner solution, which means extreme, only one, spend a lot more in one product. All right. Okay. For example, here, consumer preference for healthcare versus other goods. Okay. Now you see here, this is the trade-off between healthcare, kesihatan, healthcare, medicine, insurance, etc. lah, related. And other goods, anything lah, wayang ke, school ke, alright, getting married ke, okay. Curve U1 applies to a consumer with low income. Satisfaction is maximized at A here. Okay, this is normal public, right? So they want to have more U2 or 3, but because of the budget, they stick at here, at A. So this amount of healthcare, right? And this amount of other goods. As income increases, right? Income increases, budget line shift right. U2 becomes feasible. Consumer moves to B. Here, shift to B. U3 applies to high income consumer. This one is high income. Kaya lah. Right? And it implies less willingness to give healthcare for other goods. So here you can see that, right? This one is high, big difference from here, right? But not much of difference of here, right? Moving from point B to point C, the consumer's consumption of healthcare increases considerably from H1 to here, to H3 is big, while her consumption of other goods only modest, small, right? So this is an example of one type of what they call consumption, right? Okay, this reveal preference. I don't really see that here, but just very shallow. Given the budget constraint, right? Preference determine choice. However, can this process be reversed? Okay, remember, our class, we have preference. Sorry. Okay, we have preference, right? And then we talk about the budget. Correct or not?
Yes.
And then we have the choice. Now, normally we understand this first, then we know this, then we know the choice, correct? But we can also reverse the process by knowing the choice to determine what is their preference. Okay, this is what we call the reveal preference, right? Given budget constraint, preference determine choice. However, can this person, okay? If we know the choices that a consumer has made, can we determine his or her preferences? If a consumer chooses one market basket over another, and if the chosen market basket is more expensive than the alternative, then the consumer must prefer the chosen market basket, right? Okay, now, you know that they prefer A or B combination, right? You know this already, even though you don't know this yet. But from knowing this, you understand that that is their preference by knowing this. Okay, so okay, here facing example. I don't want to go very deep on this. Right, here if facing budget line I1 here, choose market basket A rather than B. A rather than B. So A is revealed to be preferred over B. If facing budget I2 here, right, which means they chooses market basket B, which is then revealed to be preferred than market basket D. So whereas A is preferred to all market basket, so all basket in pink shaded area is preferred to A. So this one is more preferred. But don't worry about this. I don't want to go into deep on this. But the thing is that why we need to know this, right? We need to know this, right? Why we need to know? Because people make choice. People make choice, right? So when they make choice, what are actually their preference? That's where we start to know, when we know their preference, we know what kind of product that we want to produce. Right. Okay, now, another topic is that marginal utility and consumer choice. All right. So here, example here, or the topic here is the inefficiency. Okay, the market is inefficient. So right. So when it's inefficient, this example is the gasoline rationing. Gasoline petrol lah, car petrol. Your fuel. Right. So when a good is ration, kena ration apa? Kena apa? Kena limit lah. Kena apa ration? Ada limit lah. Which mean you cannot buy a lot lah. Which mean there is which mean you are allowed to buy a certain amount of gas. Less is available for consumer, which make them worse off. That, for example, you can buy as many petrol you want, but with this ration, which means you cannot buy like before. You can only buy certain amount that is available. Especially when there is, situation when you only can buy 2 packs of sugar, things like that lah. But that is not the example. But here is ration. So without gasoline rationing, up to 20,000 gallons of gasoline can be consumed here. Right, you can buy, which means it can be consumed by consumers with this amount. The consumer chooses point C on indifference curve 2, U2 here. Why do they choose here? Because of their indifference curve here. Because it is indifference curve for U2, U2, then this is the combination over here, C. Right, but which means they are consuming of 5,000 gallons of gasoline, say 5,000. However, with a limit of 2,000, let's say there is a rationing, which means you can only buy 2,000. The consumer moves to D or on the lower indifference curve to D here. So when you add here, right, what is your satisfaction? Hello? What happened to satisfaction? What happened to utility?
less satisfaction.
Yeah, when they're less satisfied, they are becoming worse off, right? Because their budget line are allowing them to buy here at here. The budget line allowing to give their satisfaction here, but they are only allowed to buy here. So they can only buy less of gasoline, but they can buy a lot more of these other goods lah. But it is not their higher satisfaction because this utility is over here. All right. So this is what we call as worse off. All right. Now, in summary, right, the theory of consumer choice rests on the assumption that people behave rationally. Yeah, behave rationally. Okay. There are also people are not rational. You know, they have higher income or they buy things that is, you know, not rational lah. Okay, but people who behave rationally, assumption, we have this assumption. When people do that, when people behave, it's because they want to maximize the satisfaction, right? By purchasing a particular combination of goods and services. So here, basic assumption 3. So in consumer preferences, you have the indifference curve and it maps. You know what's the map? This is the map, right? The shape, the MRS, right? Shape MRS, the perfect substitution, right? Perfect substitution, like this, or perfect complement, right? So this is the shape. And then we talk about budget line, budget constraint. So that is the budget line, right? So the effect of income or price, right? And then what choices they make because for optimum choice, the optimum choice is where you have the budget line here, and then your indifferent curve here. So that's optimal. But there is also a situation where we have this corner solution, where we have corner solution somewhere around here, right? And then you also talk about this one lah, marginal utility and rival preferences. Okay. Okay. Has I stopped sharing? Yes. Okay, guys, you still there?
Yes.
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 Okay. Any questions? Must check on the dates.
Doctor say that you want to tell about the lighter and the cigarette.
Lighter and the cigarette. Okay. Hang on, yeah. Okay, hang on, yeah. Okay, utility, you want to go to heaven, kan?